Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Up Your Experience podcast. It's been a hot minute, but we're back. I mean, it's been like almost 2 months. Not quite. A little short of it. Kind of like in the month and a half range. But we're back. It's me. It's Blaze. We got Bats. Bats is here. Yep. Just cleaned up. He wasn't expecting this today, but I mean, like, when is it really ever expected?
When we plan it, like the day of.
I mean, yeah.
An 8-hour notice.
Yeah, you know, but Bats has been DMing me every single week, like, is this week's the week? And to kind of give some background information, our schedules have been awful, and I was sick for like a month and a half, and yeah, just not a fun time.
It was great.
It was awesome. I loved it. I loved the flu, and then my kids and wife getting sick, and then getting sick again. It was the best. But we also have DepNation with us. Dep, how's it going, dude?
First time here. Feels pretty great.
Yeah, first time.
Well, there was like the guest interview.
That's true. We did do interviews. We did.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that. Oh, which
first time on a solid episode.
Oh.
Worlds feels so far away.
It does.
Back in the good old days before the dragons
Back in
won.
the good old days where there was Worlds and there were Jade Dragons.
There was
and
Worlds.
Don't forget, Liani's here too. He didn't want to be here, and we dragged him.
That's true. I was getting there.
I was like, just get him. Liani's like, I don't want to.
We also brought Liani with us.
Hey, hello, it's me. It's been a while since it appeared here, but here we are.
It is. You know, Liani, I think
chat and
I think the last time Liani was on the episode was for New World.
It was It was like a lot of. I think it was for like 2 or 3. No, it was who is me? Who's this guy? There was like some questions, and I think there was like an MMO directed one.
That's right.
That's what it was.
You're right.
And then the World's interview, and that's it. But in reality, it's only been like 2 years, so.
I'm trying to balance all of our audio levels, no BS. So, you know, I'm cooking over here. Maybe I don't really know what I'm doing.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah. So if you see me like, what is he doing? I don't know. But eventually it'll be right or not. And if you're in the YouTube, then you're going to be like, haha, your audio level's wrong. I know, which is why I'm fixing it now. That's a fun comment. Better than cringe, which tells me nothing in the YouTube comments. We love that. We love that so much.
I feel like it said a lot.
No, actually, no. Let me give you the best YouTube comment that I've had lately, because this was I don't fully understand this. As we all know, I do patch notes breakdowns, right?
Yeah.
For all the Smite patches and maybe other games to come soon, but for now it's patch notes breakdown. And I get an email, and it's like, hey, you got a YouTube comment. I was like, oh, let me go check it out. It says, let's see what you got, buddy.
Okay, what did you got?
Yeah, what did you have?
I had patch notes breakdown. I don't know. There was no gameplay involved. I've toyed with that idea, but like I can't really show gameplay of the future patch that isn't out yet. So, you know, I don't know.
All right then.
Just show us what you got.
So it's what you got, buddy.
Show us what you got, Blaze.
And I just liked the comment and give it a little thumbs up because I didn't know what else to say. I really wanted to be like, what did you have? Like, you know, what did you bring to this table?
Right.
Why am I just the one having to provide here? That's the real question.
Ooh. Big questions.
Big questions. But along with those big questions, we have games of the past 2 months. What's everybody been playing?
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're welcome. You can just pick anything. It doesn't have to be the past 2 months. I'm just saying it's been like 2 months, so.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about, really.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go first because I definitely have played a fair share.
Okay. Well, I'll just start with this. I got you, Liani. It's fine. I just enjoyed the blank stare by Bats. Like, we lost him. Yeah. Like, he went full, like, the screen just went, boop, and he froze in time. Like, we just lost him. Like, he was gone from the conversation.
He had no soul.
I'm thinking where to begin.
Well, first of all, one of the things that kind of like threw us for a loop schedule wise is I'm now on Smite game. I'm a Smite game streamer now, so that's one of the things that we haven't been talked about.
Yeah, bud.
usually 2 to 3 times a week. The past couple weeks been two times, usually Sunday, Monday, which I'm vibing with because honestly, with track, it's hard. I'm in the middle of track season, so that takes up a ton of time, and then to be able to stream on my channel and another channel is quite a bit. But I've been enjoying it. I has actually noticed in the first month of streaming where someone's like, "Oh, you're that guy that's on Smite game," and I was like, "That is in fact I am that guy," and we won that game, and he called me Mr. Smite Game at the end of it, so that felt pretty good. I don't know how I became Mr. Smite Game, but I'm cool with that title. I feel like that's good. That needs to be a title in the game. Mr. Smite Game and then Mrs. Smite Game.
Smite Game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those would be good titles.
Don Smite Game.
Well, no, because I feel like that. What would the they Smite Game be?
Oh, that's true. But I mean, like, I feel like they could come with like some cool titles that go along with that.
They could.
That go with titles. Yeah. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Get creative. I mean, let me know. I'm down for whatever, really. I just think like giving some sort of like Smite game title, like I play this game a ton, and I want to like that just be the title that I have instead of like Sensei Blaze or #1 fan or there's E-Girl, E-Boy Lurker right now.
So in
or
other
whatever
words,
else.
no lifer. No
That's
lifer.
fine. How about Whale?
No, you just said E-Boy. E-Boy.
Yeah.
That's close enough.
There's like Whale. Like why can't I have like the Smite Whale? I rep that one proudly. Someone got mad at me the other day. They go, "Who did I queue?" I don't remember. It was like Scylla, and they're like, "Oh, do you play a lot of Scylla?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "But you own every skin." And I was like, "Yeah, it's called a problem."
Yeah.
This doesn't mean I'm good at Scylla or the game, mind you, but I own all of the skins. That is a fact.
That is so accurate. I played someone the other day, and it was like, "Oh, that's a cool skin. Oh, that's a cool skin. Well, that's a cool skin."
Yeah.
Or no, I didn't even play them. I was looking at them on the god screen, and I was like, "Oh, I have a lot of skins for this god. I should probably play them." I just don't.
You know it's a problem, and I know Bats also has this problem. When they release the birthday chests, and there's only like 1, maybe 2 things for you to get, and you're like, "I'm rolling that 200 gems, baby. I'm doing it because I'm gonna get the skins I don't have." And like, am I ever gonna use the King of Hearts Zeus skin? I don't know, but I have it now.
I knew that. That's right.
Yeah.
I just, sometimes I just find it funny, like the equivocation of having all the god skins. Like the people are like, "Oh, you either love this god or you're good at them," and I am neither at Scylla. I like watching people play Scylla. I am not very good at her.
I just think they're neat.
Yeah, I just like that's cool. I like skins.
Scylla's like the opposite of Cupid for me. She's like the god I don't play, and when I play her, it's like there's a high chance of winning. If I play Cupid, very low chance of winning.
That's true. I forgot, Dep. Like you're like Cupid's like the god that
I'm cursed.
You're
it's
like cursed with. Yeah,
I've got him to at least like mastery 1 or 2, and it's a 20% win rate. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, he just got changed. He gets 2
Oh,
heart
yeah, his
bombs.
hearts do different thing.
He gets 2 hearts on his passive every time he hits a god.
Yeah.
I don't think that actually does anything, but it's cool. No. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that's like, oh, that's a nice quality of life adjustment, but like in the grand scheme of things,
You're still gonna build attack speed because attack speed is good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also realized I overvalued the Chiron change. Like being able to masterful shot while doing giddy up, I thought was gonna be huge.
It's not.
No. It's like minimal. It's so minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I've done it. And I've played him multiple times since then, and it's just depressing.
I mean, here's the thing: Chiron's just good. Did he need the buff? No.
No. I think it's like it's like a nice little adjustment for his kit. I think people are undervaluing him right now as a ability based hunter, which is really strange to me because like AMC is getting played a ton.
That's wild. Yeah.
And AMC has less mobility. I mean, AMC does a lot of damage, but I mean, Chiron does.
AMC can kind of zoom under his hives.
AMC also works as a support.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
I
the cripple. It's got a slow.
Yeah, you know what's really fun with AMC support depth?
What's that?
Freya.
Mm-hmm.
Freya is now busted between the be able to cancel irritate and then you build Jim. I was like 1v5 in an enemy team the other day.
Yeah, Blaze and I were just running it down. It's just like, oh hey, what'd you? Yeah, oh hey, and
we
we
would've
were
won that
down a
game.
person.
If
We
it
were
wasn't for
down
that,
a person.
if it wasn't for that meddling soul throwing up, we would have won that
Oh, no.
game. They disappeared.
It took him 30 minutes to just out siege us as a 4v5.
Our soul comes back level 12 and is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I told my girlfriend to sit in the shop and just buy and unsell stuff. I've been throwing up this whole time. Comes back, instantly gets a kill, and levels like 5 levels off that kill.
Yep.
That's
Because
wild.
the soul dipped like within 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It was right when I rotated over to mid, they were gone.
Oh,
And it was like, oh,
So
this
sad.
sucks. But we kept going.
We did.
right.
Yeah.
F7 Warriors. Just gotta keep playing.
Other than that, like,
Feel like
my
it's-
games have been kind of weird. I played a lot of Newt because I wanted to get her to Diamond. She's now Diamond. I think she's okay. I
Who?
think she's Newt.
Who?
The god of nut. Newt.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
A little bit better there.
My favorite thing is when I'm on Smite game, people come in, is that really how you pronounce that god's name? Yes. That is how you pronounce that god's name. I've been close to getting a pint on her 4 different times. Some people have stolen it away. Shout outs to them. Appreciate them. My really like biggest play of the past month was playing Merlin in Arena. I was 0-1-15, I think, or 0-2-15. And I was like, wow, I'm doing a really good job of being like support Merlin right now. And I popped off and got a Pinta for my first set of kills. Actually, it wasn't just a Pinta, it was a double Pinta. And the best part was when I got the quad, people were spamming in VGS. I was queued with randoms. It was on Smite game. Queued with randoms. And they're spamming, attack the enemy. And they all went in. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? Because usually what happens is you get the quadra and there's some I'm a jackass on the other team that's like, this is the time. I'm going to steal it.
Yeah.
And they're just like running it down. Shout out to the person that stole my new Pinta. It was in Conquest. And I got the quad and I turn around. And our Nox has the person like locked down in the root, like in hold. And I was like, oh my god, this is free. And my Thana walked up and one autoed it right before my auto hit to get the kill.
We love that.
We love it. We love it. Other than that, Smite game's been a ton of fun. Been a lot of support on the stream, and I really do appreciate that. I mean, we've gained like 200 followers or something like that in the past month and a half, 2 months.
That's huge.
Major difference. It's been really cool seeing new players come in. I've had a lot of new players come into Smite game chat, and I find that to be exciting. Because it means all the people that say the game's dying are wrong, and it also means like if we're getting those new players into Smite right now, like they are more likely to transfer over to Smite 2, in my opinion, when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
So that's exciting. And I get a lot of like, wow, it's really cool. They'll answer all of our questions and like, tell us about builds or tell us why you're doing what you're doing. And like, I enjoy that about Smite. I think sharing knowledge and not being an idiot are kind of cool. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Other than Smite, because that's really all I play nowadays. I have played another game called Battle Crush. Me and Bats played it the other night. I got it as a sponsored
The game is
stream
fun.
from NCSoft. It's a top-down battle royale. It's really fun. I think it's going to launch in May or so. It's been a ton of fun. It's going to launch on mobile, Steam, and Switch. And overall, it's been a ton of fun. It's all mythology-based.
And we've been getting our butt kicked.
Yeah, I actually had the number 2 and 3 player on the leaderboard come into stream the other day and watch and hang out. That was pretty cool.
And then the next day they came and kicked our butt.
Yeah, next time we got in a game against them and we got absolutely stomped. Shout out to Paleo and Obsidianite that both kicked our butts. So shout outs to them. They're Empress in game, but man, they wrecked me. It was bad. Other than that, playing Death Must Die. Great game. Not going to go too much into that. If you like Vampire Survivors and... Oh, what did I say it was like? It was like Vampire Survivors meets... Oh my god. What was the other game? Hades. Kind of like that. Like it's like a mix of the two. It's dark. Like you control your attacks. You upgrade your abilities. And each character has different uses. So like you start off as the knight, but then you get a mage, then you get a rogue. I haven't like played all the way through every character and locked everything yet, but that game is a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it so far, just as a game to kind of chill on. I tried Tribes 3 Rivals. That's all I have to say about it. It exists. It's a game. Sadly, I was hoping for it to be more. Like I played the old ones as a kid and I really liked them. And it's a fast-paced arena shooter, but there are these huge arenas, and that's it. Like, and I find it weird. Like those games just kind of fell off. And those games, I think, if you look at like games that are successful now, a lot of battle royales that do really, really well for a little while are these like super fast-paced games. And then all of a sudden they just die. Like that's just what happens. I can't even remember. There was Hyperscape or something like that. There was 2 that came out over the past year and a half that were like people loved it because it was super fast-paced, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's dead. And I find it really interesting that those games aren't surviving because I feel like, is it the skill floor being too high? Because they are hard because you're moving so fast and you're having to land a shot. Like it's a twofold problem. So it kind of cuts off people that are not as good. I don't know. But that game exists. It's a game. It's out there in the world. A lot of Fortnite. Been playing that with my kids. Right. Carried Logan to a win the other day.
Nice.
And oh yeah, actually we do have one other thing that I do need to shout out because we haven't actually had a podcast since then. Shout out to everybody that came in, supported, donated, and helped out with the Rise and Dawn charity event. That was really awesome. We raised over $1,000 for mental health. And I have 2 more pies to take in the face for my wife. And then I'm working on getting emotes commissioned, and then I'll be working on the new song and then the videos for Tier Lists. But that was really awesome. We had a good weekend doing that. And that's pretty much it as far as my games go. Whoever wants to go next, talk about some games, I am down.
I can go.
All right.
So I haven't been playing too much Smite. The only time I've been playing Smite was probably like once a week. Probably at the start of season 11. Yeah, what was it? Season 11 is the one that we are right now. Yeah, I kind of lost what season we are.
It's the season of spicy is what I call it.
We're on the season of messing around and finding out what happens. Of experiment. Yeah. This is the experimental season, which I mean, to be honest with that, I'm not against it.
No, I love it.
I think it just makes it spices things up. So I think if you're a old like a veteran player, you're probably gonna feel it that there are changes that are different. Or as on, for example, for me, I find the game to be in a balanced state more than ever. That feels like. I don't know if you guys can agree with that. It just feels like when we transition from the last season to this season, it felt like they legit said everything is busted. Play whatever you want. Like soul laners, sure, we had very strong auto attack base, but you can still play all the characters. Like right now, they buff Soul Leader, so definitely that made it some soul laners like Wukong or characters like that are ability based to be able to do more boxing. So it's now there's more kill potential from ability based soul laners. AEC's definitely got some changes as well that made it broken. We went from Gilded Arrow to somehow went Death Soul in the span of like less than a balance change, and then we went to now Bluestone.
Yeah, Mannequins.
Same for mid laner. Mannequins as well. Mannequins is still good. Like there's so much build diversity in Smite in general that just feels so good to play with, and just like in every role. At least that's how I feel like. I don't feel like everything I build is just very cookie cutter. Well, there is, but it's like there's so much build diversity that it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I think there's like a core set of items here and there, right? But like other than that, like you have like a ton of variability now, and it's weird that came about by the Pro League going away. I don't know that I like that. That's the reason we got to the state we're in. Like that just seems like strange, for lack of better words.
And well, the thing is also because there's no Pro League, there's no builds. Like the builds are, because there's no Pro League, you don't have to look at SPL and be like, okay, let me look at the match between this guy and this guy. Oh, they build this. Okay, cool. That's what everyone's building now. Like right now, because it doesn't exist, everyone just builds whatever they want. It just feels like you don't like it feels more
It's a
like
little out there too.
yeah, it's and you can go like spiciness, you can go like no spicy and just like please or please your teammates, or you can just do whatever you want and not give a single thing in the world to care about, and you're gonna get flamed, yes, but does it matter? No, because you're having fun and it's working.
Yeah.
So
That's
there's
why
that.
Liani doesn't play on weekends.
I don't play on weekends for a good reason. Uh,
Yeah, the nighttime queues be rough sometimes. Like Friday, Saturday night,
yeah.
you start questioning some things.
like it's like kind of like you're in the SpongeBob universe, and if you and once you hit the like 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Smite queues, you somehow ended up in like rock bottom.
Yeah.
And,
Yep, that happened the other night.
See this weird, and you see the weird people, like the weird builds, like weird players show up,
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like,
hold on.
where is this environment? What is this environment?
This is like the rank game I did the other day to warm up, and I didn't get ADC, and I was like, oh, that's fine, you'll be okay. And I look over at our Newt's build, and it's like Arrow Devos. So I was like, oh, okay. Demon Blade. I'm like, that's a choice. That's a little early for that. And then it was Exy. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it was into Jotuns, and I'm like, what's going on here, buddy? And then they sell Demon Blade. Keep in mind, the build's not finished, and neither is the starter item. And they built Fail Not. And I was like, we lost. And that wasn't because of that. We lost because of several reasons, but I was like, that is tough. And I was like, hey, just so you know, like next time finish out the build. You don't feel you have to like sell an item because you started it too early. Like that's fine. Like it'll be okay.
Oh yeah.
I always tell my buddies that. I'm like, don't fucking sell items. You're dumb. You're dumb. You're putting yourself behind. Keep the shit item. Start into the next one and sell it at the end. Yeah. I'm like, you put yourself behind by selling items.
Yeah.
That's what Atalantis Bow is right now. Atalantis Bow is literally like build it early and sell it late.
Yep.
Yeah. Outside of Smite, I've been playing. I've been playing back into WoW. I've been playing retail WoW, so Dragonflight, not classic. Currently progging the last boss of the raid in Mythic, which is the highest difficulty. We're getting there, so enjoying times there. Definitely painful as a healer, so it's definitely one of those frustrating fights. Because they just decide to say we're gonna give you flashbacks to never want to do this raid boss ever again as a healer. So it's like, dang, yep. That's a time.
10 man or 25 man?
It is because it's retail. They make it to be it's fixated to max 20 man.
Max 20. Okay.
Yeah. So
I guess things have changed since I played retail WoW. It used to be like the 10 man or 25 man.
Yeah, so that's still in vanilla, which is Wrath of the Lich King. So you can still do those in Wrath of the Lich King. There's a version for that. But for current WoW, they made it so it's now if you do normal or heroic mode, well, the lowest, which is like kind of like what I would say the lore, or like, hey, I just want to do this, not really care too much about mechanics or anything. You do LFR, which is you just queue kind of like a dungeon finder. You queue, you get placed with 25 people, and you just run like wings or like separate fragments of the raid. And then there's normal, which is standard normal difficulty, and that way you can you can flex from 10 man to 30 man, and it scales based on the amount of players in the group. That same for heroic, which is obviously heroic is the difficulty, and then mythic, which is the highest and hardest difficulty in the raid. That one is fixated for only 20 people. So even if you queue for like 10 man, it will scale up, like it will scale to 20.
Okay.
Doesn't matter like how many people you bring, it's just gonna scale to 20.
Okay.
So that one always causes controversy for people that show up because they're like, oh well, we're a small group of friends and we want to do 10 man, and there's not really like a mythic difficulty for 10 man. It's always gonna be 20. So that's what it causes that issue. So then again, like that's just how the nature of it is. I definitely wouldn't mind if they added 10 man or like another fixed difficulty for mythic, just to make it like more just to make it so
more
people
accessible.
can actually there you go, more accessible was the word. So there's that. But other than that, the game feels fine, feels fun. They did release recently. They released a battle royale mode. What was it? This week or a week
yeah.
ago, which is
It
called
was this week.
Thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Obviously, definitely has. It's been fun. I played probably one day, like a few hours, but it definitely was a battle royale I would probably play if they kept it for the long run. Just like every now and then, if there's nothing to do, it's just like, oh, okay, well, I just queue into this and go there.
And you get loot for it. Like you get stuff for your character, like in-game character. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
some.
there's a battle pass for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say I've seen some kind of back and forth about how they should have released it as a standalone. But I feel like as a standalone, then it's harder for them to link your gear to the account. I feel like there's just a issue there. But I mean, me and Liani talked about it, and I was going to talk about it later. But now's a good time. That kind of makes it's set up, and I honestly think like it's going to be up for what 6 weeks, Liani. That's right.
Yeah, it ends on April 30th. So yeah,
I have a feeling that it's a pilot. That's what I think. I think it's a pilot to see how it does, because Liani pointed it out. Like it's set up to be played on controller.
Well, it's not like set up to be fully played on the controller, but it's kind of like every retail WoW as well. Like for example, there's always been rumors of like, oh, WoW is being made now with controller compatible stuff because back in Legion, which is like around 2017-ish, 2016. There was a mode for the camera to be more dynamic. So dynamic as in like you target a character like an enemy and your camera will pan out so that way it kind of looks like you're in third person over the shoulder of your character, and the camera is looking dynamic, is like doing animations dynamically according to your character. So that makes it a little bit like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then they removed that, and then they kept being like during Legion, doing that expansion, there were some people experimenting with controllers, because that's when the WoW gained a bunch of like, it got a boom from there in Legion. Then again, people will say Warlords of Draenor, but that's because just of how the nature of expansions go is whenever the expansion gets released, it gets a big spike of players, and then as the expansion progresses, it dies down. That's just how the nature of MMOs go.
I'm trying to think the last expansion I played. What was after Warlords of Draenor?
After was Legion.
Yeah, Legion.
If it was,
I think I ended late Warlords then.
Okay. Yeah, because Warlords was when they included Mythic, but Mythic didn't have 10 to 25 man.
Right.
If you're talking about the last time they had that was back in Mr. Pandaria, which is at the very end of that was when they added Mythic. But that was the first time they had Mythic, and obviously people enjoyed it, so they kept it. But
Mr. Pandaria was fun.
Yeah, it's still one of the most fun stuff. Yeah,
Pandoscoper.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, that's just how it goes. But then as we progressed through the add-ons and stuff, we started seeing like people were reporting news of like, hey, there's like as they data mine, because obviously there's data miners in the game. There were like some data mine images for like controller like layouts, like Xbox layout, and be like, oh, there's the X, Y, B, and A for Xbox. That's interesting. And they were able to make it so that way they can use the dynamic camera option enabled as well. They found that, and then they also enabled with controller, and people were playing it. It's just like, wow, it feels fluent. It just feels good to play with. I didn't play it with a controller. Obviously, I'm not too much of a controller person. I play more in keyboard, but definitely one of those options that would be more accessible for people who like to play a controller. As we have seen with other MMOs like Final Fantasy, they have played it. That one is with controller, and they have made it work.
As someone that's played on controller on Final Fantasy, I'd rather just use keyboard. And that's like, but I understand like from an accessibility standpoint, like it's huge, and especially like in the sense here where Microsoft's purchased
business sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want the most accessibility for your game possible. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
World of Warcraft is such a huge cash cow.
Oh yeah.
For Blizzard.
Yeah.
Because you've got the subscription, right? You still got them paying for expansions.
Yep.
And then you've got all of your
Cosmetics.
microtransactions. What is it? The Astral Horse made more than StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they reported that.
A
Yeah.
single microtransaction made more than developing an entire game. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
you know
know,
what else is crazy? I think
it's
there
just
was
huge.
something released in the past couple days where like WoW's subscription
The
numbers
numbers, right?
are as high as they were in like what 2006.
Yeah. So if I let me just pull that up
It's like
because
it's like
it
7
was-
million active subscribers or something like that.
Yeah.
currently.
So
Yeah.
in perspective, Legion when it launched had a spike, but then again it was competing against Warlords of Draenor. Warlords of Draenor,
yeah,
which was the previous expansion. When it peaked, it that was the highest one at its like most. That was at 10
Yeah.
point something million subscribers. Then when Legion, and at the end of WoD, we were reaching 5.5 million. When Legion launched, we reached 7.5, something around 7 point something million subscribers. Then again, keep in mind, I'll say this, and this is why I mentioned this with a big parenthesis or asterisk. This is standalone Legion as a sole game. It is
Yep.
not doesn't have like any other games from World of Warcraft. It's just World of Warcraft Legion. Like that is the only version of the game you can play. Then it came into like Classic, which is the vanilla version. Now we're introducing 2 versions of World of Warcraft you can play. I'm going all the way from 2017-ish to all the way to 2020.
Yep.
To skipping all of that. That's when vanilla WoW or World of Warcraft Classic came out. It then spiked a little bit higher than Legion, which was 7.5, spiked down again, got into a new expansion, which is Shadowlands. Before then, we had Battle for Azeroth between Legion and Shadowlands. BFA for sure didn't really hit the mark.
no,
When I played it, I personally didn't enjoy it as much. It didn't felt good to play. Like
It
in
was
my opinion, it was meh. Like it was decent. I have a lot of people that tell me that it was good, but then it's like I don't feel the appeal. Like it didn't felt good because as a casual player back then, I used to be a casual player. If I played Legion, you felt the power of the character. Like you felt like roleplay wise, you felt your character power. Feel like you're basically being told champion of Azeroth. You're basically in the story. You are the one of the strongest characters in like WoW history at this point. Like for defender of Azeroth. And then once BFA starts, like that power got like stripped from you. Your weapon that you used to have in that game no longer exists because you used it to save the planet. That's it. And now your stars is like, oh, now you're a messenger for for your faction.
now you're just
And
mail
that's
boy.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, now you're just
Yep.
some guy trying to fix the islands of the faction that you're in, trying to help people, and suddenly all gods appear, and now you have to defend it. It's like, oh, but we don't have nothing. Well, now you meet this random person who you never met. Well, you did if you played Mr. Pandaria. Anyways, he appears. Here,
Right.
have a cloak, and I give you with my skills. I'm gonna make you a cloak, and now you can defeat the old god that messes with your mind.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, okay. And then after that, now you're going to Shadowlands, which is in the presentation that they had, which is where me and Blaze are talking about these numbers. They mentioned Shadowlands. The setting of Shadowlands was that you're now in the afterlife. The sun is now the entire story now revolves around the afterlife, and the villain didn't got any story development at all. He's just big bad guy trying to do some funny stuff, and you just stop him. That's it. And then that was when World of Warcraft was at its like bottom point. Because when it started, like sure it did peaked, but that is also because I want to say, COVID happened. This was during COVID. When COVID started, and we say this from every other like expansion, right? Or every other when COVID started, we know
Any
for
other game.
any other game, it just every game spiked.
Yeah.
Like it just basically spiked there. Every game spiked. We know Smite spiked. Spiked in player base. Well, yeah,
Everybody did during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was talking about this graph with a friend of mine who's like a diehard WoW fan. He's like, no shot, Shadowlands got this much player base. It's like COVID.
Everybody was
COVID.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the home. No, it was just like everyone was at home. They had nothing else to do. So it's like let's just play WoW.
I was
And
teaching
at
this
the
current setup right here. That's where I
Yeah, like people were just at
different
home doing
mic, but
nothing.
same idea.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. And as the game kept going, it reached to a point where the game was dying. Like it was basically this expansion. If they kept going with this expansion, we wouldn't be seeing WoW at all. Like World of Warcraft would have been dead. And then they released Burning Crusade, and as a separate version. So now you have 3 versions of World of Warcraft. Now you have Vanilla, you have Shadowlands, which is dying by itself, and you have Burning Crusade. Then this was around 2022, I think I'm saying for the chart. Yeah, and then
so.
as
But
we ramp,
they knew.
yeah,
they're
knew.
like, hey,
They knew. Yeah.
they're like, we have welcome to my trap card, Yugi, and then they're like, haha, Burning Crusade. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was this always a plan to be like, you know what we could do, guys? You know, it's a cash cow if we just like release vanilla and let people see, and let people see how it really was.
Yeah.
It's like when you bust out
what they want.
Yeah, it's like when you bust out the Super Nintendo and let a kid play Mario, and they realize like there's 3 lives and the game's over. You know what I mean? Like, and you got to start over. Like that. I'm sorry, not Super Mario World because actually had save points, but like if you go back to NES Mario, it didn't. Or if you go like Metroid, it didn't. And then you start over, and you're like, and as little kids now are like, oh my, what is this? What do you mean I'm dead? I have to start. I just did all this. Like, yeah. Welcome to my childhood.
Exactly that. Yeah. I saw a video. Someone was having their kid play like the old Lion King platformer.
Oh my god.
And you had 3 lives to beat it.
Yep.
And they died for the 3rd time. They're like, what does it mean game over? And the dad's like, yeah, you got to start over from the beginning now.
Yeah.
And
they're like, no, where's the checkpoint? Where's my save? You don't have that.
You know what's crazy?
You didn't wrote down the code?
Right.
What's crazy to me is I think Aladdin is one of the hardest.
Aladdin was bad too.
The hardest Super Nintendo games ever made. And Battletoads. I will not, like, no one will tell me that Battletoads was an easy game. Battletoads is one of the most horrendous games to play. No, tons of fun. Game's amazing. But as far as trying to beat it, horrendous. Like, it was so hard to play. So hard to play that game. Like, the difficulty in that game, like, it might rival what Demon Souls, Dark Souls is now. Like, like you want to talk about Souls, like, go play Battletoads, okay? Go play old school Battletoads. Come back to me and let me know how you feel, because it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good.
It wasn't too bad if you had like a teammate.
It's still awful, bro. It's still, bro. You can have 4. You can have 3 other teammates with you. It still sucks. Turtles was fun. Turtles, like, what? Turtles had enough difficulty.
Jump.
Yeah. I'll say Turtles had enough difficulty. Turtles was like the perfect amount because you could play with other people.
Turtles was tough,
and like it was hard. It was hard.
So much fun.
But it wasn't like, oh my god, we're gonna lose every time. It was just difficult.
Right.
Like Battletoads and Aladdin are on another level of difficulty.
Dude, Aladdin sucked.
Because even like Donkey Kong Country, like that game is hard. Like if you think about old school Donkey Kong is a hard game. And I love whenever they release a new one because people forget. People are like, oh my god, it's Donkey Kong. And then they buy it and then they're like, oh my god, this game is hard. I'm like, every single one of them has been hard. Not one of them has been easy. But no, I do think...
Do you remember the Donkey Kong game where you had to play Donkey Kong in the middle of the Donkey Kong game?
Huh?
But I do think like that's the one
that was
thing...
a feature of one of them.
I think that's what WoW had going for it, is they knew like, hey, if anything ever fails, we just hit the restart button and bring back vanilla.
Oh yeah,
and it worked.
Oh yeah,
it worked.
It works because as I'm gonna be might be a hot take, but it feels like the people who those buttons are only for people who play WoW back then.
Yeah.
Because that was their demographic like severely changed, like got changed drastically. Like for example, when I didn't like vanilla. Like my friends were like, "Hey, you should try vanilla." I'm like, this feels so slow. I don't like it. I didn't like the slow pace.
I mean, that's why I
Um,
originally didn't play WoW. It was too slow for me.
Yeah, and then when I started playing like retail, like modern WoW, it's like wow, it feels way better. It just feels like faster. It feels modern. It feels like modern
Optimized.
version of it. It feels optimized. And then when I started playing the new expansion, which was Dragonflight, I'm like, okay, I want to try as best as I can to do just like the best, like hardest content I possibly can because I know I could.
Yeah.
And like sure enough, it took me like a while to get there, but like from hopping guilds to like getting to the guild I am in right now, it definitely feels like right now I'm at a good pace of like I'm getting the achievement that I want to.
And that always feels
and
good.
yeah, and like right now we used there was like an argument that was posted last week by someone on Twitter. It's like, hey, here's how to fix WoW because they didn't like it. They didn't like how to play modern WoW. He's like, remove all button bloats to now everything's gonna be 10 buttons. So every character is gonna be 10 buttons. Cooldowns, defensives, anything is gonna be 10 buttons you have to press. Raids, remove all of the difficulties, and now it's gonna be 40-man raids. Give mind
This
current
is already a bad
current
idea.
players.
Yeah, this is already
And
bad.
also remove all add-ons from the game and make the difficulty as hard as Old War hard mode, which I'll say this as it is. If you go back into Wrath of the Lich King right now, like, and you play Old War, which is at the time it took like a year or something for them to release new content afterwards. There were like, actually no, I'll make it even easier. When Ice Crown Citadel released in like vanilla Wrath of the Lich King Classic, everyone was watching it because it's the hypest raid. It's Ice Crown Citadel. You're killing the Lich King.
Yeah.
The raid ended in 49 minutes. That was the first time that was like as soon as it released, the raid ended in 49 minutes, and it's like okay, well now nothing cares. Like nothing cares because we just want to see, like there's well we all know what happened, but it's like there's no way for, and that's the thing that I was like talking is like it definitely removes that nostalgia because it's like oh well we all know what to do. And it's like, well, that's the point of retail of modern WoW. It's just because the mechanics and raid fights are new, we don't know exactly how those interactions work. Like, what's this or what's that? Because there's definitely different previous clients back then when we didn't have like Blizzard licensed games like Vanilla, TVC, and Wrath of the Lich King, or well, upcoming Cataclysm. Like those games were like, oh, this, and now we have like people can just before it's like private server, find a different game, and then just like okay, well they've just been practicing on a private server for like their entire life since the game went down, and now they're like, I can now play this, and now they have optimized their classes, and optimized everything is now optimized to the point that it's like almost very robotic. It's so it's just when I was trying to play, it's like, okay, so you need to do this, and it's like, okay, and then like, no, now you need to do this now, and it's like, well, like I don't. If you're gonna be playing those like vanilla or classic versions, it definitely feels like a more time sink because they're trying to replicate that time sink.
Well, and I was gonna say too, the person that made the comments they made about like how to fix WoW, at least it wasn't the general consensus of what happens with games of this game sucks. It's awful, and then they don't offer any feedback. So like give them props, they offered feedback. But my response would have been to that, yo, go check out WildStar. Oh wait, it doesn't it doesn't exist anymore because that WildStar was amazing. Yeah. One of my favorite MMOs ever made. But the problem with that game was it was way too difficult for people. The skill floor was too high. And that's where you run into this idea of like too much difficulty. But that's one of the things I love about MMOs. I actually had people in my chat yesterday come in from my old guild back in Guild Wars 2. And I have so much nostalgia for that game. I love that game. And I always want to go back and play it. But like I go back and play it and one of two things happens. I'm like, this is what I remember. It feels good. I need to leave this game right now because it's going to be a problem. And I know that. I have over 3,000 hours in that game. Smite, I just surpassed how much hours I had in Guild Wars 2. And I've been playing Smite for 8 years. I played Guild Wars 2 for 4 consecutive years. I mean, I had a very large amount of time in that game of leading guilds and doing raids and like the whole nine. I loved it. It was what I just loved to do. And sometimes when I hop on there to play, like I enjoy when I play, but it's a scary time for me because I know how much of a slippery slope that is. And I do. Like I will, like I could sit down and play that game. And I remember doing this. My wife worked night shift and she would always ask me, what do you do at night? And I was like, oh, what do I do at night is I go and I drop you off at work. I get home. I eat dinner. And while I'm eating dinner, I talk to the guild about what we're going to do for the night. And then we go do it. Like, to put in perspective, right? There's WVW, which is 3 different servers versing each other on a map. If you played ESO, similar idea. There was a question at one point because we were trying to recruit for Oceanic. It was our hardest time zone. Like, we just didn't have coverage for Oceanic. I was covering NA primetime, which was 7 EST, to 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. EST, depending on when I got off. I would play WVW for 10 to 12 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And like, the crazy part was, we would win. Like, I would be fighting map groups on 3 different maps, and they'd be like, yo, so such and such on attack. I said, can you hold for 3 minutes? They're like, I don't know. I was like, if you can, we'll be there and we'll wipe them. And we'd go and wipe them. And I remember, like, pulling strats that nobody understood. We had people on map that were a spy for an enemy server. They just relay the data of where we're at. And I remember they were on map. And I may have had a couple drinks that night. One couldn't say. And I said, okay, what we're going to do is we're all going to stack on top of this spot. They're like, dude, the spies don't tell them where they're at. And I said, good. They're like, what do you mean good? We're standing on top of the supply depot right outside of Lord's. And you have to take the Lord to take the castle or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I know. And they're like, Blaze, like, are you good? I'm like, no, but it's a 30v60 and this is our only chance at winning. And they're like, what's the plan? I said, we're going to drop portals here and we're going to portal behind them. They're like, that's suicide. It's 30v60. I was like, no, it's winning. It's 30v60. And we wiped them the first time. And I remember this spy being tilted, dude. Like, he was going off. And we wiped them. And everybody's like, there's no shot that worked. And we go and we repair. And I'm like, all right, we're doing it again. They're like, they're not going to fall for it again. I said, they don't know where we came from, dog. They don't know.
Yeah.
30v60 again, we wiped them. And on the second time, I knew someone saw us. Like, they had someone, like, wait behind to see what happens. Yeah, and they caught us. Yeah. And we got wiped on the third time. But, like, it's stuff like that, like, I love that. Because the amount of strategy involved in that game and the so many different moving pieces was exciting for me.
Yeah.
And my big thing was I wanted to play outnumbered fights because I knew I could beat anybody in the game. And I wanted to play non-meta. To the point where, like, we had devs follow our group and we had abilities not just changed, removed from the game. I said, yo, so-and-so, you want to see something cool? And he was like, I don't like the sound of that. I was like, watch this. #1 NA GVG guild. Like, #1 in the game. Their policy was, if you wipe on first push, you're kicked from the game. And I said, watch this. And we blink in. I have everybody tome up, which is this guardian ability I had at the time. And one on the tome, it gave you 5 abilities. It was an ultimate skill. It had 5 abilities. 1 was a knockdown, and 1 was fire. And at the time, there was burn damage that was uncapped. And I was, like, messing around one day, and I was like, yo, check this out, guys. And they're like, Blaze, there's no shot that works. I said, we're going to try it tonight. Here's the build. And I sent it out to all my guardians. And we wiped them first push. All of them died. And I was like, so does the guild die now? Like, what happens? And the best part was, like, people on our server watched it, and they're like, Blaze, we need the build. And I said, no. And they're like, but you just wiped NS. And I was like, yeah. They're on night shift. I'm aware. And they watched again. And I had commanders come to me like, we need the build. And I said, no, you guys are going to abuse it. They're like, but you're already abusing it. I was like, yeah, but, like, I'm one guy. Like, I am one guild. Like, if we keep it locked to us, like, it's not really ruining the game across the whole thing. Like, you guys figure it out. But I remember that. Or I remember there's, like, leap effects off of certain fields. And people wouldn't use... There was a light field aura. And I was like, yo, we need to be leaping out of this. And everybody in my guild's like, that's stupid. Like, we need to leap out of fire or water for heals or power. And I was like, yeah, but light field gives you an auto block. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, like, we just don't take damage. And and they're like, wait a minute, like, why isn't anybody doing this? I'm like, I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff I loved about MMOs. And like, it's the slippery slope for me. Like when people ask me like, oh, why don't you play Guild Wars anymore? Or why won't you try out WoW? Or why don't you get any? It's, to me, there's a slippery slope of, I love PvP. It is my favorite thing. It's why I love battle royales. And Smite Smite gives it to me, dog. It gives 5 people on each side of the map. It maybe lasts an hour, worst case scenario, and I'm good to go. I can get out. Yep. But like for an MMO, like you might look down at 7 o'clock.
You could just stay.
And then next thing you know, it's 1 in the morning, and you're like, oh sweet God. So I always think about that when we talk about like WoW progression and stuff, because it's easy to take that time and like commit to it because it's such an achievement.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like sometimes you look down. Good. Sometimes you look down and what was supposed to be a 3-hour raid slot is now a 5-hour slot and no one caught it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this happened. Like recently, because they were like afraid of when they're gonna be pushing the next season, and if you don't clear the boss or you don't kill the boss before the next season starts, you don't get the achievement.
Yeah.
You don't get the achievement of like, hey, you proved that you killed the boss during its current moment.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is, before we used to do 2 time slots of 3 hours, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. Now we're doing 3-hour slots or 3 slots, and or Monday we're trying to make it tentative, an attempt to get people on Monday, and then same on Tuesday and then Thursday. So basically now people are just like,
gotta do it.
Guns blazing. We just gotta do it. We got to go now. We got to go.
Balls to the wall, dude.
Anymore.
Yeah,
we just have to go. We just have to go.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it feels good though.
But like, it feels good. It's fun because like everyone's like on the same like mind of like, we need to kill the boss.
Yeah.
And it's one of those bosses where it's a long dance. So the long dance causes everyone like the mental needs to be so. So to put in perspective, the raid boss fight is this raid boss, which is Feroc, which is the last one, is around 9 to 10 minutes of a fight. That's how long it is. So, and because it is the hardest difficulty, if you mess up the first 2 minutes, 1 minute, like the first 2 things in the first thing in the first 2 minutes, you're like, gotta reset. Everyone needs to wipe, and then we need to go again. So, and it takes like 100 pulls, so you have to like prog 100 times that entire part. The first 2 minutes, and then the next 3 minutes. So now you have to prog the 5 minutes of the fight another 100 times, and then so and so. It's very it gets very mind numbing, but it's
the mental test, bro.
Yeah, it's the mental fortitude of your like, how long can you keep this up before you break in and just like give in to the guy.
Yeah,
and I think that's the fun part is when everyone, like when you see the boss that reaches 0% of HP and you kill them, and you just hear the entire 20 people just like unmute themselves from the DC and just scream, yes, fucking kill him, and the boss just dies. Like those are things like I think people get hype about it. Same for like in sprints or comp sets or everywhere else where you're like working as a team. When you feel that, when you get to that achievement, you're like fist bump, fuck yes, we did it, boys. And like that's what, like, for me, it puts me like, it makes me happy when I'm playing video games with people, because it's like that, the like synergy of a team, the work around of a team, or like the mentality and stuff. That's what that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, I love that too. Except for the fact when they're like, let's do it again.
I love it too until the boss is at 1%, wipes the whole squad.
Yeah.
Been there.
In our guild at ESO, it was always like, all right, we're gonna do this this raid, we're gonna do this dungeon. It's like, all right, cool. 4 hours later, it's like, hey, we did it, but none of us got what we needed, so we need to run it again.
Gotta run it again. Gotta get the
and
gear.
You're like,
you're like,
I'll be back in like 2 hours.
Yeah, give me a minute. I gotta walk around. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the
like, hold on, I'm stuck to my chair real quick.
That's one of those things that is rough. Is random gear like that. That's where things get a little bit rough with MMO. But like, that's part of the like.
That's how they get you.
That is how
because
they get
if you got the gear you wanted, you do the content, and then you're done. That's how they get you.
But that's the one thing that's weird about Guild Wars is like Guild Wars is horizontal progression. It's not vertical, which is always like a weird time. So like you can earn a legendary item that you craft, and like it takes a long time to craft it. But now you have access to every stat. You can be like, oh, I want to use Berserkers. I want to use, and you can swap stats at any time. So like that's one of those things where like, you are rewarded for your time, but that it doesn't change the fact like it's still hard to accomplish to get.
Yeah.
Or you could spend real money and get an OG one, but like,
Well, what was it when World of Warcraft introduced having multiple classes? On the same character, I feel like that was a huge leap forward for the game.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, you otherwise you just had to have a whole ass separate character.
Wait a minute, that's a thing now.
Fill a role.
No, you still it's still multiple characters, right?
Yeah. So okay, so
no, you can still have multiple characters, but
I get what you mean. So like what he's saying about it is that back in vanilla,
you're talking about the specs. Yeah,
specs, and now it's like in modern, now you choose between the tree specs, whereas before they have the tree entries.
No, I was like, hold up a minute, I missed something that is very important to my understanding of WoW.
No. So people still do that actually. Like they still create like mythic guild, like race to wolfers guilds, this is how degenerate it is, by the way. I'll tell you this. So here's how you do it, the most degenerate thing ever. Imagine creating, let's say, one mage, right? And they're all frost, right?
Yep.
Now you're making 5 of them, and you're running the same thing over and over. And it's like, okay, well, this first character didn't got any gear. Second character got some the tier set of the raid. So that one I'm gonna be raiding with, and then the other 3. Okay, let's see what we get with the other 3 mages. Okay, we got some stuff, but it's not as good as the second one. Okay, so we're sticking with the second one that got the best gear possible. Okay, that's how degenerate they do it.
Well, it's because the lockout. You can only do it once a week. That's why. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but it is like it is insane.
What is it when I was raiding? I had a shaman, and I ran him as damage on one, healer on the other. I had a paladin that I ran protection on one, damage on the other. I had a hunter, and it's like whatever the guild needed that week. It's like I'll fill the role, and I'm like, but listen, I expect at least one piece of gear for
whatever it is I'm playing.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like I'm gonna need a little bit of priority here if you make me switch. Because, like, generally, I liked playing the damage shaman. But it's like, if you need me as healer, okay. And it's like, if we need a tank, you're damn straight I'm getting priority on that tank.
100%.
Because now I have to switch over to him.
I used to do alt raids to help people out, and my guild would get super mad. Because I would be, like, the lowest item person in the game, and in the raid. And I'm like out DPSing somebody, and they're like, if you're getting out DPS by Blaze, something is wrong. And I'm like, that's fine. Like we're not worried about that. Can we just clear the boss? And they're like, no, this is not okay. And I'm like, that's a future problem. My problem currently is I myself would like to clear the raid as someone that doesn't get to be on the main raid. And they're like, fine. And like, but they would get so heated. Like I'd because like we'd have at that point we use TeamSpeak, and for people that don't know, you could actually hold a button and you could have private channels set up to talk to certain people, and it would mute you in the main call and have you talk to people in the other call. And like I was friends with basically the raid leader, and he was the guild leader too, but then one of the like officers, and they would always like have me on that part of the call, and like, this is so stupid that you're out DPSing. But I'm like, bro, I'm just hitting buttons. Like I don't know what you want me to do. I press the buttons at the right time. They're like, what macro do you have? And I was like, bro, I have no macros. I just press the buttons. They're like, there's something wrong with you. I'm like, that's okay.
Oh yeah,
like that's
fine. People actually like they get surprised with me when
I don't macro. I think macroing irritates me.
Macroing silly. I never
so,
macroed.
People get upset on me when they see how I play WoW because I don't press buttons, I click.
Oh yes, you're a clicker. Oh my god.
What I do is I do 1 to 5, right? So I do 1 I do 1 to 5 with my hand with the keyboard, and then I press Control, Alt, or Shift for like the other lines.
No shot, Liani.
Every other like ability past
Liani, what is wrong with Liani? What is wrong with you, bro?
No, hold on. He's onto something because
to be fair, I thought he meant when he said he was a clicker. I thought he meant he was like one of those people that like clicks with the movement of the mouse and then clicks on the ability, and I was like, you are insane. Him clicking on the keyboard, I'm down for.
Yeah, like like my main abilities, I do use the keyboard, but then like like buttons that I don't normally have to press, that's when I click.
God, no way, dude.
Things I don't normally press, I point and click, and then I've got like the 1 through 10 on my mouse buttons.
I'll say they put 12 buttons on this mouse for a reason. Okay, I have this.
No, every single one of them's mapped.
Hold on,
every time.
Can I get this one? I don't know. Oh no, it's gonna be my whole PC. I have another mouse with 16 buttons on the side of it. That thing's awful.
Everyone tells me to get a MMO mouse. Everyone tells me to get an MMO mouse, and I do not like it.
That's
and
exactly what I have.
don't feel like having one.
Yeah, Dep, I have that one,
mine.
but it's the 16 button one and it's awful. I hate it.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that one. I have it.
12 button Razer one.
Yeah,
you can enter between the 1 and 2, and then a regular.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get it into.
Yeah, the Red Dragon
my
mouse.
buttons here in the middle control my DPI.
Yeah, that's the mouse
So
I used to use for 7K
the
DPI
DPI
shots
in
in
the
PUBG. I love that mouse, and then it broke, and I was sad.
It's a great mouse.
It is a
Red
great
Dragon.
Mouse. Yep, nicely priced as well. For those that don't know.
Yeah, no, it was very affordable. That's why I got it.
And you know it's crazy. There's an affiliate link you could ask someone for named Blaze McBain if you ever wanted to buy something from Red Dragon, and it'll work. Fun facts of the day.
You know what though? My what is it? My cord. My because it's got the like the string wrap on the cord. The string wrap finally it's shaved through in one place.
Oh.
So once the rubber goes,
it's wraps.
And I'll need to get a new mouse, and I'll use that affiliate link. Thank you, sir.
I do what I can. I can what I do. Dep, what do you playing?
I like it.
Outside of WoW,
oh, there we go. It's still down.
No, because outside of WoW, because obviously we spoke a lot about WoW, so I'm moving past that. So outside of that, the other game was Helldivers. So
yes,
Helldivers. I think we all agree Helldivers is probably a fun as fuck game.
Yeah, very good, and worth the money.
Worth the money, and it's so funny when I land my 500-kilogram bomb and it lands right next to me when I'm trying to shoot it at a Vile Titan and it explodes on my face because the E-girl did not want to blow the Vile Titan.
There's a clip of it, like this guy's like throwing his stratagems off and he's like, oh, this is gonna be so sick, and he lays down to watch it happen, and then the bomb just pink right next to him. He's like, what? And dies. And I'm like, I laugh about that stuff all the time. That game is wildly good. Good.
There is a YouTube channel who does updates on Helldivers, but he doesn't like in character.
Oh,
so,
yes.
So he says like the changes, what's going on in the game, like nerfs and stuff, but he says in character. So like when they nerfed the Rail Canyon, he's like, so because we had to mass produce the Rail Canyon, we had to reduce the quality of the Rail Canyon. Therefore, the damage has been reduced.
Oh my god!
So they're like it's so like that one is like so cool. Like I like how people like go in character for just bits like that.
Well, and the cool thing about what they're doing is like they'll drop like a new vehicle in the game, but only some people are seeing it before it actually gets patched to be in the game for everybody. And I think that's really cool. Like they have like this like randomly shows up on the battlefield now, and you're like, wait, what? Like you can find a mech. Or you can find this new weapon on the battlefield. Like, I think that's really cool. Like, it's like this hidden Easter egg moment that keeps the game fresh. Because, like, you're like, okay, this is coming, but when are we going to get it? And who's going to find it first? Like, it's all these, like, little itty-bitty, like, moving pieces that keep it really cool. And the game is wildly fun.
Joel.
Yeah.
Or you get Joel, and Joel just decides to mess up your game.
For those that don't know, they do have basically a... oh my god.
Dungeon master.
A dungeon master. I had dungeon. I was like, what's the other word? A dungeon master that if, things are going too well for us mere humans trying to save democracy, they'll just up the difficulty a little bit to make sure we don't succeed. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. I think that makes it even more fun than it already is.
Yeah, I think there was one time where one person was raising flags, which raising flags is a mission that's like very easy to do. You just like stay there and just raise a flag. So Joel decided to spawn 7 Bile Titans on the guy and be like, anyways, you wanted to raise flags on trivial difficulty.
Yeah, can't do it. Sorry.
No flag today.
Wah, wah, wah.
But yeah, that's been playing Elden Ring again. Been playing it. Slowly getting back into the rhythm so that way I can prepare a character for the DLC. So
Oh yeah, I gotta do that.
Yo, they pushed back Final Fantasy's new expansion
Yeah.
for the DLC, by the way.
Yep,
He said no one
they
would
did.
play during the first week if we released it at the same time, so they pushed the release date back.
I mean, it's true.
Solid plan.
I love Yoshi P, dude.
Yeah. I think, what was it, on Saturday, the panel was, Yoshi P was like, well, I can't say much about Final Fantasy 14 because this is the Final Fantasy 16 panel. And if I say anything here about Final Fantasy 14, Yoshi P will get mad tomorrow. And he says about himself, it's like, okay.
Too funny, dude. Oh, man.
But yeah.
Depp, what have you been
on.
playing, dude?
Oh man, what have I been playing? I got the receipts lined up over here. So, most recently and still on in the background, we'll get to it after our lovely podcast here. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. It's just, one of those little fun, brainless, just walk around, avoid the bad guys, level up your weapons. Just mindless games that you have a little bit of fun doing. Other than that, big fan of tower defense games.
Yeah.
Been playing Rogue Tower.
Oh, nice.
Threw a little money at that. That's a fun one. Get your crossbows and later on your plasma cannons and your vampire towers. But there's some challenges to that, and I'm slowly but surely hunting achievements. I'll load that up every now and then to give it another attempt. Balloons Tower Defense 6.
Balloons is good.
That's
Classic.
just a good game. It was a classic. I played the Tower Defense like 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, it's a good series.
And I found out 6 was a thing, and I'm like, oh well, I'm getting that. And
Did you know they make an Adventure Time one?
Didn't they really?
Yeah, it's an Adventure Time one on mobile because I downloaded it for Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know there's like BTD battles.
Yeah, there's a Balloons Tower Defense Cartoon Network Adventure Time one.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh. So yeah, and then I've also been just like looking at my Steam library, and it's like, I've got all these games. I should probably play some of these
Yeah.
again.
Feel that.
And so it's like I've got Total War Warhammer 2.
Nice.
So that might be in my future. Stellaris.
Stellaris is good. I've only played it a few times.
Stellaris is so good.
Is it the RTS one?
Stellaris is
like Civilization.
Yeah, it's like Civ but space, right? Is that,
Okay.
is that a good way?
It's
I think
Civ
it's a
in
good way to-
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't grasp that game. It just like the UI felt too small. I don't know. Something
The UI
about
is
the game.
Not a lot of moving pieces, and I
Yeah.
think if you don't start slow and you try to do too much at once, it gets away from you. And here's the thing too: it's like you play one match, maybe I'm good for a week. That was like
maybe
3
I don't
hours of
need to
my
do it
life.
again. Yeah.
I will say playing single player, you can pause and speed up, so that is
Ideal.
that is ideal for the single player version. But one of these days, maybe getting a multiplayer lobby if a couple other people have it, that would be fun. Which just made me think of Blood Bowl 2. That's a fun game.
Yeah.
And then I'm also just excited for I'm excited for the new games coming out.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? My one buddy, he's a big Path of Exile fan.
Path of Exile
And so it's like Poe 2, and I'm like, I'll be here for Poe 2. When's it coming out? I have no clue.
No idea.
Is that like a late 2025 thing? It could be.
They've shown some gameplay because they showed gameplay right around Diablo 4 came out, and that's what really pissed off a lot of Diablo 4 people, including myself, because you see what's going on with Path of Exile, and you're like, holy crap. Like it looks good, and like
Then
I
you
have a
look
feeling
at
it's gonna be
Diablo
really.
and you're
But then I play Path of Exile, and like Path of Exile is okay. Like I like the idea of it. I just can't get into it as much as Diablo.
It's so established already.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not heading in the direction of necessarily simplicity for bringing on new people. They're just kind of carrying on the norm.
Yeah, I mean, I played around
or adding more.
Yeah, I played when it like originally launched, and I was like, this is good. And I went back a couple of times, and it's all right. I get it. For some reason, like it doesn't click the same way for me, and I don't know if it's just like the nostalgia factor for me that Diablo brings. But even like Diablo 4. Me doing that hardcore run trying to get to level 100 without and get on the statue, that ruined Diablo for me in a lot of ways. Because now playing softcore Diablo, I don't enjoy. I love the challenge.
There's less challenge.
Yeah, I love the idea that if I die, it's over. But then there's also the fact if I sink hundreds of hours into this, that sucks. So I don't know.
I hate to bring it back to WoW, but people are doing that with WoW, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hardcore WoW.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
the
do.
thing now.
They officially release a mode for it.
Yeah. They do hardcore WoW, and then they get to they do what is it, Makara, where they PvP.
Yeah, Makara, yeah.
They PvP to find out who gets it, and like that's wild.
Ooh. Yeah, there's a infamous guy in hardcore WoW where he somehow sneaks into raids, and we're talking about like the last raid, which is next Ramas. And he just griefs the entire group and kills everyone.
That I don't like. I don't like that. That I think is
he has
messed
done
up.
it. Yeah, he's done it like 2 to 3 times already.
That's so against the spirit.
Yeah,
I also think,
that.
Yeah, I just think that's messed up.
It's messed up as it is. Yeah.
But they did like a Makara tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's sick. Where like the winner won like 20K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. There's stuff like that. I think that's super cool. But other games that are like that, there's that last Epoch game that recently released, and it's done pretty well for itself. I've been curious about that game. But
yeah.
Path of Exile, I do wonder. I wonder how 2 is going to do, and for some reason I feel like it's going to be a 2025 game. Not going to be this year, I don't think.
No, I don't think it'll be this year either. But still excited for it. I plan on kind of jumping on that when that comes out. But yeah, just excited for new games, playing some old ones, picking up one here or there. Having a good time.
Yeah. I feel that.
And now that we're talking about, World of Warcraft, I've got some nostalgia for that. I think it's such a money sink. It's such a money sink, and it's like I've paid for it and I've played it and I've been invested in it. It's just I don't want to ever commit that much time to a game again.
Yeah.
Because it was like required scheduled, be here for several hours, several times a week, and it's just like that's too much. At least for me. But I think the only thing that could make me want to play Blizzard's World of Warcraft again would be not necessarily like, bringing back vanilla. I think it would be like vanilla reforged. Like, okay, start over, but like, I don't know, like the graphics or shit, like just essentially redesign all of vanilla, but like to modern standards.
They did do some changes with the Season of Discovery.
Yeah, they made like a new version of vanilla, which is called Season of Discovery, which is it's kind of like season by seasonal, right? But like what they do is that you start at a level, and what they do is that, for example, right now I think it's like the cap is level 40. When they released it was level 20, and so you reach level 20, and there's the reason why it's called Season of Discovery is because as you kept on like leveling up, you will find specific areas that are like new to the not new to the game, but like they added these bits and pieces and into the game that like you right click or interact with them. It's like, oh, you now learned a spell, and like items will now like work around it. Where it's like, oh, now you learn, let's say, a level 70 spell, well, obviously scale down to like your level, right? And then you'll learn like abilities of like, oh, so for example, they made it so warlocks are now tanks. They can now tank if you go the right build, or like Mages can now go healer if they want to, like they can build as a healer.
Yeah.
Druids can now spam one ability without wasting mana, so now boomkins, like the chickens, can now feel better. It's rogues can now tank, like that's the thing. There or like mega DPS, like stuff like that that just make that like they're like, hey, we're just gonna spice things up, kind of like season 11 of Smite.
Yeah.
But like it's as its name states, it's a seasonal thing. So you kind of just like
Yeah.
level one thing, get to the level cap. You do the raid because they also introduced raids. So what, for example, what they did was that once you reach level 20, I don't know if it's a 10-man or a 20-man, but what they did is that they released a dungeon in the shape of a raid. So they remade the entire dungeon to be a raid, and that's the raid for that level. And they're
That's
like,
kinda
okay, well,
cool.
this is your like entry level rating, and then like for example,
Yeah.
level 40 they now made Gnomeregan, which is like the Gnomer,
Yeah,
Gnome
Nomer.
name one, yeah, Gnomer. Now they made that into a raid at level 40, so that's the
Okay.
next raid. And then they did say they're gonna like try and increase and add new stuff as we keep going. So
Mhm.
that's where they're going. And the reason why, and I will say this with 100%, I don't care what people say. This is my take. The reason why WoW right now is kind of striving is they got two people who are now the head developers of WoW. Holly Longdale, which is for those that do not know, she was the one who worked on what was that one? She revived a MMO. What was it? It was not old school RuneScape. It's like Neverwinter, Never EverQuest.
Oh yeah.
So she worked on reviving EverQuest, and obviously she made a huge success from it. So Blizzard say, "Hey, come over here," and that's why she's
Yeah.
now like the face of modern WoW, like vanilla WoW now. And John
Okay.
Haidt is, I think he works specifically on the vanilla version or like the classic versions of WoW. So like Seeds of
Right.
Discovery, Wrath of the Lich King, all of those versions. He's more focused on that, and Holly Longdale focus more like overseeing all of it. And I think Ian Hasikostas, which is the OG developer of WoW, I think he's now I think he still works overall, but he's more focused into modern
Yeah, I was
day
gonna say
WoW.
they have to have
Okay.
like several different teams
Yeah.
kind of
Dev
they have
teams,
a, they have
yeah.
a, they have an overarching theme, but like they all like are in their own compartments.
Well, keep in mind back then it
Yeah.
was just Ian. They didn't have these
Right.
two other
No,
people.
right. That's what I'm getting at. Like
So
they had to expand in order to like
yeah,
make it viable for sure.
and so far, like, I mean, everything's been feeling so good. Like, modern WoW feels good when playing. You play vanilla. Obviously, if you like vanilla, you'll enjoy it because it feels good. Season Discovery feels good when you play it. Like everything feels good. Like it doesn't feel like it feels good if you enjoy the demographic it's meant for. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
When I played Season of Discovery, I was playing almost level 20 and then stopped because I remembered this is just vanilla WoW and I'm getting bored of it, so goodbye. But
Yeah.
definitely like also most of my friends who were playing stopped, so I just didn't have a reason to keep playing it. But had my friends kept playing, I was like, oh, well, I would have given it a shot, like a decent shot, and just have fun with it. Same what I did with Wrath of the Lich King.
Right.
I only did the first raid, which is next Ramus, and it's like okay, and then the group disbanded, so it's like we couldn't do anything else past that. So
Yeah.
unfortunate, but I mean that's just how it is. People have lives and stuff, so yeah.
Bats. What have you been playing?
I mean, I had it lined up. Now I forgot. We talked about WoW too much. Brain dead.
Great thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I've been playing a lot of MWZ still. You know, got to get zombies in constantly all the time. I guess I've been playing Smite.
I
Also been-
guess I've been playing Smite. That's a statement.
I mean, listen, that's the mood. I feel like that's such a
Yeah.
mood. I've been playing some Smite.
Been playing Battle Crush. That's a fun game.
I've been playing it off stream, Bats. Like it's a problem.
I started Baldur's Gates 3 again.
Yeah, how's those rolls going?
For once it's not me getting them.
At least there's
So
that.
yeah, Ember's getting ones now, and it's not me.
For those who don't remember, Bats hated Baldur's Gate 3. Like, he gave it a scalding review
Dude.
because he kept getting, like, low rolls constantly.
I never passed a skill check at all. Not one.
That's sad.
It got so bad that I was like saving and quitting. And
Ooh.
that's where 4 hours of the game went. And I didn't even make it past like the first freaking tutorial place. I was pissed.
I talked to Bats when he got the game. I was like, "Oh yeah, how you liking Baldur's Gate 3?" I was thinking about picking it up, and he's like, "This game sucks." And I was like, "Oh god!" Like, and he was the only person that told me that. I was like, "Wait a minute, like, what's going on?" And Bats got the anti-Skyrim thing that happened to me. Like when I played Skyrim, people were like, "Oh, it's so sick. There's dragons everywhere." And like I played over 20 hours without running into a single dragon besides the one that's like in the main, like the beginning of the main quest. That's the only dragon I encountered.
You want something interesting? Please?
What's up?
I have never played a single Elder Scrolls game.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Like that and GTA are the only two franchises
play
I have
GTA.
never played.
Yeah,
And that's because they never interested me.
Yeah, GTA. I don't
Makes
know.
sense.
I've never played it. I've sat
acquired-
down.
It's an
And, like,
acquired taste.
If my wife's like, "Hey, can you play this mission while I'm doing something real quick?" Like I've done that, but I haven't like sat down and actually tried to play the game.
Dude,
It just
have you
doesn't-
seen that meme with the two old people? They have an old lady and an old man, and they're playing GTA, and the old lady's like, "Oh my god, this game is so violent. I don't think I want to play this anymore." And the old man's like, "Get back here, hoe."
No, that's funny.
Just like, where did that come from?
They're like, hell?
Weren't you trying to do like progress on zombies, or are you just kind of stuck on that?
It's here and there. It's a lot of grinding for schematics and stuff. It's hard to do solo, so I just like kind of play, do some runs, kill some zombies, chill out. I've also played Pacific Drive. It's a pretty fun game.
I've seen you playing it, yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks interesting.
I don't know how to recommend it to people because like it's fun, but it's repetitive. So people who hate repetitiveness, like it's not for them.
It's also driving. Like, let's get that
Yeah.
out there into the world. Like, it is a driving game, and if
It
you are
is.
bad
Yeah,
at
yeah.
driving in video games or real life, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
If you do not like Drive the movie from Ryan Gosling, you
Hey,
definitely will not
that's a
enjoy
good
it.
movie. We're not gonna slander Ryan Gosling. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No.
I
No,
mean,
we
you
don't.
like you get to upgrade your car. You can do like off-road tires, four-wheel drive. You can put like a steel siding on it, and
Okay.
it's like it's a Oldsmobile pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you're
think
just
it's
like, oh, let's go. A
yeah,
station
I think
wagon.
I'm telling you
Station
this,
wagon.
Pat. It's like the Long Drive. If you have
No.
heard of that game,
I heard about it because you had it on the wish list, and then I watched videos of it, and I was like,
well,
man.
it's different. It's like obviously Pacific Drive is more polished, as in like graphical wise. But like the Long Drive is just like one of those low effort games that it's just you are in a survival, you're just driving, you don't know where, you're just driving. And it's just you pimp your ride as you keep going because you find different areas you get and you need to like stock up. It's kind of like what the game is in Pacific Drive. You stock up on gas, you stock up on finding upgrades, you paint your car, you find stuff to survive, and you just keep going. And there's multiplayer for this one. I don't know about Pacific Drive. I think
No,
it might have.
Not for
Pacific Drive.
Drive, no.
Single.
I'm surprised it doesn't have multiplayer because
It's
fact-
because
if
the game is so big. I think it would because like how did they describe it? I think they did a story about why.
well, I mean, if it's procedural generating, it's like I'll assume that's why. But I mean, it's still like a missing.
You're
It's still a
telling me
miss there.
that you want to get in
Yeah.
a car where there's lightning strikes and Bats is the driver? I've played
Okay,
PUBG.
okay.
I've played
Have you
PUBG.
wait,
Okay,
wait.
I know
Okay,
that.
first of all, have you seen- have you
okay.
seen-
You want to
have you
talk
seen-
about that, please?
Have you
But,
seen me drive? That's the better question.
Also, you wouldn't be in the other seat. You'd be in the back seat because the front seat is
Whoa.
like a mechanism.
Whoa. Oh, okay, okay.
Like it like the front seat holds
No.
this like machine. Apparently, you throw like radioactive shit into. Like you pick it up and it starts hurting you, and you're like, "Oh, this is cool."
Look, I'm just saying, Bats
it's a
luck with
DeLorean?
cards.
Yeah.
Basically,
You got a flux capacitor?
Bats' luck with cars in PUBG is not great. Is all. I was getting
Oh
at.
man.
Like during the
Yeah.
charity event, I was told to down him by embers. Like this was like days prior. And like we'd been like 5 matches in. I was just making sure Bats felt real comfortable. And I down him. And I didn't realize
but wait, I didn't feel comfortable because I got down 3 times before that.
Not by me. That's the best part. But he's popping a heal. My goal is like, oh, I'll down him before the heal goes off. The heal went off. I downed him. So now he's out of heals. He heals again, and our teammate hits him with the car and downs him again.
And that was after that teammate hit me twice with the car.
That's so funny.
Maybe
Like,
the Pacific drive car was trying to get karma to come back for you. Maybe that's what was happening.
Probably.
I've also played Township Tale. It's a VR game. I've been grinding that out quite a bit because they had a new update. They had a lot of quality of life changes. They added some things. I guess like before I was playing, it wasn't fully released. So like they wiped everything. So now it's a constant grind. I logged into V Rising because I thought that they already did their update, but that comes out May 8th.
May 8th, yeah. And that's the big one. That's the actual full release.
They're saying it's like the full release and everything, which saddens me because that means I'm losing everything again and I had to start over. So Liani will be grinding with me.
Let's be honest, Bats. I was the one telling you where to go and what to do.
That's why I said you will be grinding with me. I knew the first like area where I went before. All right, I knew where I was going at the beginning. It was towards the end where I was like, this is all new.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I don't know if I've played anything else. I mean, I've played like a slew of games here and there. I played For the King.
Has anyone
restarted that?
Has anyone played Pal World?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Pal World.
Yeah, I did play Pal World. It was okay. Well, like I guess they got updates, so it might be better now. But when I first started, I just got to a point where I was like, I don't know what else to do at the moment.
What sucked for me is I started on Game Pass, and Game Pass and PC are on different versions, which was fine. I was just playing single player, having a good time. And then my buddy bought it for PC along with another IRL buddy, and I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I'm going to host a server because I have all the equipment in my house, so I'll just have a server going. I was like, cool.
Oh.
And so I told a couple people, I was like, hey, if you have it on PC, like, here's a server. I post it for the community to use. And then something with their side causes his entire server to crash. And he runs like a ton of stuff on this server, so he doesn't usually have any problems, and he works in IT. And he was like, yeah, so we're not doing a Pal World server until they figure out the crap on their end. Which was really unfortunate because like I'd started playing on his server and gotten like a decent amount of the stuff I had back and was like making progress, and now I'm back to where I was. So I haven't played a lot. I know they have like their first raid coming out soon. I'm excited to see how that is.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
like that's a good game.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yep. Some gaming news stuff. I don't have a list of gaming news today because I was just like, whatever. But Apex Legends getting hacked, players getting hacked during ALGS for to qualify into the $1 million tournament is wild. And here's the deal. I'm not going to go like crazy into this, but if you want like the entire breakdown, just go watch Pirate Software. All right? Like because he has the entire breakdown of everything.
I'm sorry. The fact when they were just like,
so like the guy's like, I'm getting hacked, and his teammate's like, yeah. He's like, no, like my computer is getting hacked, and he takes his hands off the computer, and his character's still moving. Like, his character now has aimbot. It had all the hacks enabled, and when you watch it, if you go back and watch the clip of it, it shows up a pop up on his screen of everything of like him getting everything enabled, but there was a separate pop-up with an IP address attached to it. So like they looked into that. It was a fake IP address to fake them out. This guy is a known like hacker of Apex, like to the point where he has like 40 accounts he can spawn into a server. So like he was like when he like stream snipes people, he'll just drop like 20 to 40 bots on top of them. So insane. Like he even sent like $400, or he said I think like 400 of the Apex packs to certain people. He's really kind of shown just like the problems. within not necessarily just easy anti-cheat, but Apex itself. A lot of people were worried about RCE. He goes on to say, like, for him, he's not hacking to be malicious.
Like malicious, yeah.
Yeah, he's not out to like put viruses out there. He's not out there to be malicious, but he is out there to, like, in his words, be a clown, and expose some stuff. And really and truly, this is good for us as the gaming community because it forces the hand of developers to be more stringent on their anti-cheat. And when this is happening at a time where you're qualifying for a major tournament, I think this is kind of a call out to all the major publishers that, like, hey, you really need to crack down on this. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty, because you're the game that probably has the most issues with it rampantly. But this isn't just a Apex issue. This isn't a Call of Duty issue. I would say in Season 11, we've probably seen it more in Smite. I know Liani has. So we've had, DDoSing of lobbies to the point where it just kicks you out because they were losing. There's all these variety of issues, and I don't want to call out devs and be like, oh, devs suck. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think, like, it puts forth the idea of being more careful about the security of your game and the security for those that are playing it. Because I know developers already have enough work on their hands. Like, it is hard. It is not easy. But a lot of these companies do have a security department, and they are working on these sort of things. I think it's really good. I think...
You know who doesn't have a security department?
Good would come
Modern Warfare.
Well, didn't they release their own anti-cheat? Like,
yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's that. But, I do think, like, Respawn and them are really, like, dedicated to working on it. They said they'd already released a patch to fix a few things. But I just find it interesting. Because in a lot of cases, like, sometimes companies, like Google hires people to try to hack into different systems that they have just to see, like, is there something wrong? Is
Test
there a
their
security
security,
issue?
right?
And then, okay, there's an issue. Cool, we'll pay you for that.
Yeah. I've been I witnessed that in multiple work jobs I've been where they hire those, and I've seen people get let go because they were basically letting people like they will call in and they'll be like trying to get as much information so that way they can hack into the system, and then because like coworkers will just give that information away, the company's like, we can't let you do this. Bye.
Yeah, my bank did that with my information.
Oh, what is it? My mom's company regularly sends out fake phishing emails. Trying to catch employees.
Yeah. So they do that at the university I work at. Here's what bothers me about at the university. Here's what bothers me. You send me a phishing email that I delete because if it doesn't say, if it's not something from my department chair or something from like of that matter where like it's important to me as a teacher, I either delete it or I don't look at it. One of the two. Mostly I just delete it. They get mad if I don't report it. But I'm not supposed to click on that email, dog. Like that's part of the training. So they get mad if I don't report it. They'll actually give you like they send you a list of how many of them you caught, how many of them you opened, blah, blah, blah. The good news is my open's always 0. Like they like in the sense of like me responding to it in any way. Yeah. Like I had one that came from HR that was really strange. And I looked at the thing and I was like, that ain't right. And I reported it. They're like, oh yeah, thanks for catching that for us. We sent that out. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks for,
wasting my time.
Because the thing is like, it looked all natural. I caught it because there was an extra period in the email. That's why I caught it.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
I didn't even look at my emails.
But that's the thing. Like,
look at my email.
I delete most of them. Like on it, really and truly. If it is not something pertinent to me information-wise, I just delete it. I just don't.
Yeah.
But I think security being kind of at the forefront this week is interesting, and I think it's good for the gaming community as a whole. Sucks for Respawn. In a lot of ways, I do feel bad for their development team because I know they work hard. We all work hard. It's part of the job. It's part of the way it goes. I think we know Elden Ring DLC is coming. We got Smite 2 Founder Smite 2 Founders Edition's got announced. There's some good stuff there.
No release date.
No release date. One day we'll know.
Yep.
And no, don't look at me. I don't know.
I'm looking at Dep.
I don't. But no,
Looking
my
at
thing,
Dep. Oh,
but
so if
my
I
thing
was
that
a
makes me mad.
betting man,
Yeah.
okay. If I was a betting man, I would say Smite 2 is 2025. As much as I'd like it to be at the end of at the end of summer, I don't think it's going to be there. Like they haven't done beta yet.
No.
And like
but
they're going to be in beta for a while.
Yeah, I think beta is probably going to happen this year. I think that's reasonable.
Oh, beta's going to happen.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I don't think we're going to have it might be like around the time that
they're going
Worlds
to
would
pull a
normally
Smite 1.
happen.
I think really and truly, and like people should expect this, is for Smite 2, you should hope that the release date is further out, because that's going to mean that the game is more polished, and that's better, and that's better for everybody. It's
better for like the sequel release too. Like saying, hey, this is our second go of this.
There's three editions. I was gonna say there's 3 editions. One's $30. You get Smite 2 access. It gives you the God Pack basically. You get a badge, title, and avatar. The Cacodemon Ymir skin and 2x Legacy gems is worth mentioning. The Ymir skin will go away once open beta starts. It'll be gone. You cannot achieve it anymore. You have to do a Founders Edition to get it. The Deluxe Edition, which is $60, includes all the things named before, and you get the cross-gen Nightstalker knee skin and the Ascension Pass for the first 11 Alpha Gods. And then the Ultimate Edition, which is $100, includes everything from before, and then adds a Tier 5 Zeus skin that the image for looks sick, and I don't know why it's in the loading screen right now.
And you can't get it.
You can't get it. I do have to say that is one thing that's annoying right now, and I'll get to it in a second.
Dude,
because you get the Ultimate Edition avatar, badge, title, and the Ascension Pass for the first 23 Alpha Gods. That Zeus skin loading frame that loads in at the beginning of the game drives me insane because it sends people to my game stream. It's like, hey, do you know when the Deluxe Edition is coming out? Do you know when that we're getting that Zeus skin? Do you know when that Zeus skin is coming out? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know why they still why they have that in the loading screen. When
but here's what I think. Here's what I think. I don't know, but here's what I think. I think
it's gonna come out with this patch.
If the Founders Edition is, or let me phrase it, if Alpha, the first Alpha weekend is close, then it makes sense for that to be in the game. If it's not, we're just getting baited. And I hate it. Because I want to see it. I actually am curious because you can't even see it in the game what it looks like. But these editions, you select your platform, and then when they do the Smite Alpha Access weekend, you'll be able to access those. And I think that's really exciting. I'm excited for Alpha. I'm excited for closed beta. I'm excited for open beta. I mean, I just want to play Smite 2. I'm just hoping it's good. It's kind of where I'm at, and I want everything. I want them to take their time.
I hope, like, in some ways, like, obviously it's still going to be Smite, but in some ways, I hope it's, like, a different game. Yeah. Like, I don't want it to be just like, oh, this is just Smite 1 with better graphics. Like, I want it to be...
we don't... Yeah,
like
different, feel different.
We don't want Overwatch 2.
On the map, maybe, like, you know...
I think
Google Grass Fall, I don't know.
I think we just all have that sour taste in our mouth when it came to Overwatch. I feel like that's what's also happening is that we hear Smite 2, and for people who see that and heard of Overwatch, it's like they put 2 and 2 together. It's like, oh my god, it's just gonna be an HD remake of Overwatch.
Overwatch 2 changed nothing. I think that's the problem. No. Like, it's this Overwatch.
Well, it's not even that. They made it worse because it's like when it started, like Overwatch 2, the promise was it was gonna have single story and ton of like PvE,
nothing,
like, hero talents and all of that. And then this week they announced that the developers are canceling and closing and no longer gonna do any more story. Like all of that got scrapped. There's like even like developers that are saying that there's no like they had their cinematics no longer going to be shown because they work on it, but because it's going to be storyline, they just remove that. So it's like basically just like probably want to say like the entire Overwatch 2 reasoning for it was cut off. So now it's just like Overwatch 2. It's just Overwatch 1 remake, HD edition. That's what one might say.
HD,
And that's I think that's the main people got upset. Obviously, people got upset about it at the start when the skin fiasco happened, where people were like, oh, but I'm not getting my skins. It's like, well, Yes, but
Who cares?
you're not. Who cares? Well,
Yeah,
it's not that
I
who
just don't
cares.
care.
Like I
No, I
mean,
legitimately am there. Like, who cares? I
yeah.
feel that way.
Personally, I don't care. But there's also the other side. I'm looking from both sides, right? Where at the same time, you need to look at it from this perspective. We're talking about, let's say, 10,000, like millions of skins, hundreds, and most of them are in Smite 1 graphics.
Yeah,
So when
there's
you're
no point of
asking of the
porting them over.
developers,
Well, there's no, so they're not going to port them over because they said they were just they're re-rigging all of
everything.
the character models.
well, that's the
So
thing.
like
They're
there
gonna have
is
to
no
re-rig all
there
the
is
skins
no
as well.
port.
Yeah,
Well,
like
there is a port. It's just gonna take longer than it is.
it would take
because,
2
like, for
months per
example,
skin.
let's look at it from this. Like, what's a let's say I want to say let's say the Cthulhu like Ragnarok skin, like the Fire Lord skin from Cthulhu, right? The lava one.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how they need to put like they need to port that at the lighting effect from Cthulhu, remake it to be the lava one, and then also add all the effects and all. Same for the
Well,
wings.
I don't
Same for, like, for
think
example, like Ishtar, like the angel skin from Ishtar skin. Like, they need to re-rig all of those assets.
Yeah, it's the
And
rigging, not necessarily the
yeah.
porting of it over. The porting of it over they
Yeah.
can do. They've shown that in the map. Like, they showed that
Yeah.
like from porting the map over, like the graphical change. It's literally the rigging. And I mean, if you go watch the videos, you can see a lot of the changes in Smite 2 between like there's grass now. The jungle's different in the way that you level up camps. I mean, like there's the ancient Gold Fury now. There's the War Horn. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can find out in the videos. My biggest concern is going into it. We don't want Smite 1. We already have Smite 1. Like, it needs to be Smite 1, but
we
better.
have Smite 1. It needs to be.
It needs to be Smite 1. Like, have the same intention, but a better game.
Yeah.
And I think some of the changes already show that.
Rank queues.
I mean, like, I think we already see some of that intention where like beads are the only relic, and then you have a ward. Like a ward relic. There's no agents.
You have a ward and you have a beads. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
But the thing that actually, like, I know I'll get over it eventually. Like, I knew they couldn't get all the skins, but I think every T5 skin should be on Smite.
Every T5, I feel like they tweaked the code to make every T5 work. And for them to go through and tweak the code again over, I think that's a lot to ask.
I'd rather see.
Yeah, but with how much they actually want you to spend for a T5, you should get that. Considering that they're
but you're getting the gems back for it.
You're getting the gems.
But it doesn't matter because you don't have the skin.
Who cares? You get you get the gems back.
Well, and if you get the Founders Edition, you get twice the amount of gems back.
Well, no, but that's my point, right? Because like they're saying you get 50% off any of your purchase with the legacy gems. Them giving you 2 times, but them giving you the 2 times literally means you get all the money you spent back.
Every single penny, yeah.
Well, it's not even
and that's essentially just buying the game.
Yeah. No, but Liani, what I'm saying is with legacy gems,
I bought the game like 200 times already.
Liani, what I'm saying is your purchases give you 50% off. Legacy gems give you 50% off. By them giving you double, that means you literally get your full amount of money spent back. Like, you're not getting your money back for 50% off each time. You're still doing that, but since they're going to double it, you're going to literally get all of your money back. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. And on all truly, I think really, I don't even care about T5s coming over. What I think really would matter to me, as just at the community standpoint and the pro league standpoint, is bringing over the SPL season winners every year skins over. Not the recolors, not that. Yeah. I'm talking about the SWC champion skins over. Like the Leviathans, Gilgamesh. Or the E United, is it Cuckoo had E United?
Yeah, E United.
But I think having those skins come over means a lot more to me from a community standpoint, because it shows the history of where Smite.
It shows the history of the game in the professional scene. I think that would definitely be a level of respect.
And I think that
even if those gods aren't in the initial release.
Oh yeah, whenever
having the skins release with the gods and then getting the option to use your gems to get those skins. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
there's definitely gonna be bundles and stuff. I feel like for Smite 2, for it to feel good, I don't know, like how I don't know how to tell what's the best way for me to see it. At least for my like wish from Smite 2. I definitely feel like my bet is kind of like what Deb said, is that they're gonna release till 2025. It doesn't. It feels like they're on the right track. It's just I'd rather have it be on the right track for it to be like super good to feel like when playing. And not because, let's be honest, most of us have played in when Smite was in closed alpha, or like not closed alpha, closed beta or open beta. And that's what I'm thinking of where it's going to go. Is they're gonna release the open beta, and we're gonna have like a full year, kind of like a season, quote unquote, of Smite beta, and they're gonna make World Championship or something like that. That's what I'm getting at. Is I feel like they're gonna do a Smite 1-esque like update stuff, where it's gonna be like Smite 2 World Championship, like open beta championship, like opening tournament. And if they do that, then it's gonna be fine. It's just gonna be, it's fine. Like it's at the end of the day, it's whatever. Like I feel like that's
a release tournament.
Yeah, like launch tournament. There we go. And so people get to play. Yeah, I feel like that they did that with Smite 1, and that's good. And they are showing that they are willing to invest money into the competitive scene. Just by them saying that there's gonna be a EU scene.
Yeah.
Just by that, it's just like, okay, we already have, like, just by them saying there's gonna be an did they say it was gonna be NA and EU and then the World Championship?
It's NA EU lands. NA EU lands. I don't know. I think it's gonna depend on how those go. Honestly, I think that would be kind of dependent on where things are, because the last thing you want to do as a game developer right now is release your game with esports as the forefront of the game. Because it doesn't pay off. It doesn't.
No,
we've seen that fail too many times. But I did think I think crowdfunding was listed in the Worlds announcement, was it not? I can't remember.
I don't know.
That needs to be a thing. I stand by that 100%. I would actually really think it'd be cool if they would bring some of the amateur league casters in for those like launch tournaments, like the early games. I think that'd be super sick.
That'd be nice
to help them like
get some training in, get that.
Well, just to help promote, because like it is hard.
Jitter.
It's hard. And I say that as someone that's like doing broadcast management for AGL Collegiate, where I can't get anybody to run production because last season everybody was paid, and this season they're not. Last season it was $30 a set. Now it's, hey, there is no money. Do you still want to cast? And they're like, no. And what's crazy is no leagues are paying. So like it's like you want like everybody cast for free. And that's kind of hard to do sometimes. So I do hope that it's just done right. I mean, that's what I care about. Like, take the time to make the game, make sure it's done right is kind of where I'm at. I don't really have any other news to bring up that I can think of. But I do have names of the week, and this is really names of the past month and a half. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. There are names not on here because I didn't get to screenshot them because I was like streaming on Smite Game and I forgot to go back. There have been some names of the week. Also, let me just tell you. Okay. Some of these names, y'all, that I see come up in Smite Game chat
experience.
Are a time. Like, what you doing?
Oh, before I forget. I forgot to put it down, but I saw someone with the name of Scuttlebutt.
Of course you did. All right, we have look, we have Hee Bro, Gamer Jeans, White Boy the Goat, Beefcakes 420. What's in this one? Let me open that screenshot up. It is The Word, Anti-Villain, Danger D Danger. Is that Clungus? Oh my god.
Hispanic at the Disco.
Then we have First Crush. I'm not saying that one. There's another one that's F Machine. Just finish the word.
Is it one that I have to say?
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not saying it because it's not. It's not appropriate due to TOS, and I'm pretty sure that name got reported. Not absorbable. Mother of Lag. Big Booty Trudy.
How far back are you reading? I'm not seeing any of these in the channel.
It is so bad. I hate Smite 78 with Smell My Shorts. Epstein's Journal, sadly won.
Oh no.
Spidey Bacchus.
No.
Yeah. Super Smash Hose.
Okay.
Wukong the Great playing Sung Wukong. Never Getting a W. hungry, hungry hen, a piece of grass, elbowing deep in you, evict single moms, and tier Rex. Amish leprechaun.
Okay.
Oh my god, this person's name is Medusi Eater. Why? Burn the boats.
Oh, now I'm there. I can't reach that.
Big Booty Gaming
My
HD.
God.
Big Chungus. That's Poggers, bro. God tier Loki. Weak wristed, dirty drama queen, freak of nature, Yogi, Yoga Bear. Like, Vio says these names aren't real. No way. Hold on. Buttle? Buttle is that person's name? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's...
Today's forecasters only builds boots. Yeah, they were built for another time of Smite, not now. Wow, I got a poo. Swag Vipers. Yeah, there was during the 10K.
You can tell they're on. You can tell they're on Xbox because that's edgelord, and they put X in there.
Yeah. Cream Pear 98. Solo's okay. Naka laka laka daka. Grumpy Umpus, Fart Vacuum. That's disgusting. Dragon of the South and Throttle Thumbs. Wiener Cam. Lady Gravy. Simi Hard Nips. Lickin' Toes. Lickin' Toes was somebody I played against in Fortnite with my wife, and we saw them in the lobby and we got killed by them. I'm a traffic cone.
Okay.
What is this one? Squiggly Biggly. Assistance, please. Fish Boy.
Fish Boy.
Hungry Socks. Meme Myself and I. Hispanic and the Disco. Doug Dimmadog. Thick Chickens. I got a big chalk. Morgan's Thighs. Yamojusi. Alpha Kenny 1, the other Kenny, Alpha, that exists out there. We have Morgan Down Bad. Mario Bro 0613. Buster, oh my, Jing Slay. I'm not finishing that one. Buttery Wumbos. Droopy Weenor. Harder Mommy and Chicken Pancakes. El Bandito and wait, is that Elo Bandit? And there's two of them in one.
There's two of them.
There's two of them in the same game.
Two of them.
There has to be like a special character or something.
Yeah, one of
or
those.
No, I bet one's a L and one's a capital I.
Probably.
Oh,
maybe. Yeah. Hold on.
What nerds?
What is this name?
Oh,
I can't even zoom in on this. Oh my god, hold on. Let me open this in browser. Meow. That's as good as we're getting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Meowzas is another one. Whopper, Stomp, Strop, Drop, and Trolls. What is Afro's Fat Jugs? Cranky Trash Can. Dr. Flopalopagus. Real Florida Man. I don't know that I would pick that as my name. Asian Bat Soup. Bear Jew Bronson. Grand Mask Knees.
Grandma's Knees?
Am I the real ape? I am the real ape, yes. Next to each other in lobby. Rancid, I don't even know. Alpha Kenny 1, another Kenny alternate account.
That's hilarious.
MLA format. Zeus's Yummy Feet.
We're not gonna see the name for.
Skeet. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Saggy Milkers, Stink Butt, and a Hago, all in the same name, all in the same lobby. That's crazy. I just said Gamer Jeans earlier, and then Horny for E-Girls was the last one submitted by Suave, which might be that could be one of his alternate accounts.
Thank you, Swab, for your
no
contribution
comment.
I don't know. They're masters ranked. Probably not him.
It might be. That could actually be Suave. He's not. He's in Diamond right now, I think.
Yeah.
Anywho, any shout outs on the way out of here, guys?
Shout outs to our special guest who decided to show up out of the blue. Except for Liani because we dragged him in here. He didn't have a choice. So
I guess.
Wow.
We forced him.
Thank you for having me, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Sure, dude.
Also, shout out to our listeners. But this is 150. Let's go.
It's not. I wish it was. It would almost be.
Okay. Here's a fun fact, though. You know, our 100th episode was like 2 months ago, a year. I know. Actually, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. I got a notification that said about the 100th episode.
Yeah, we were on 140 since we haven't recorded. So this would be like 147 if we were still on track, I think. So it'd be close. But that's okay. We'll catch up to there at some point.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Honestly, it was a needed break, if I do say so myself.
It was. I got a lot of stuff done, and a lot of stuff that I decided not to get done. So I mean,
yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah,
that's future me's problem.
I accomplished a lot, and then you look at some things and you're like, I didn't do a single fucking thing.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I did all this stuff last weekend, and I looked at my wife and I was like, "Hey, what if we went through and like fixed the entire closet next week?" And she was like, "Okay." And that did not happen this weekend. That did not. We both got through the week and we're like, "Yeah, no, we're good."
What if we didn't?
What if we what if we didn't? What if we didn't?
No, agreeing and then just not.
Yeah.
not doing a single thing. Never starting.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way of the road.
Right.
Any shout outs from you guys before I do the outro here? Dep and Liani?
No. Shout outs to you guys, yeah.
Okay, sick.
Shout out to game developers because their job's hard.
Their jobs are hard. They have to deal with a bunch of cranky crybabies that don't give actual constructive feedback. Looking at you, gaming community.
Well, what are you saying me for?
No, no, but I just mean like it's like just give some type of feedback. Give anything rather than just saying like it's bad. Give feedback. That would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
Put the money into it.
No, I mean that's
keep
true.
that same energy for Blaze's comment section.
Yeah.
Give feedback. Give feedback. Don't just say, "Wow, cringe."
No,
yeah.
No, what was the one?
Yeah, what was the one earlier?
Give us what you got. Like, show us what's.
Yeah, show us what you got, buddy.
Show us what you got,
show us what you got, buddy. Yeah, show us what you got.
I had someone hate on my audio one day, and I thought they were hating on my mic audio. They were hating on Smite's audio. That's what they were hating on. Yeah. And I was like, wow, we could have really cleared this up just with better words. But words are hard.
English is hard.
Yeah, words are hard. But on the way out of here, shout outs to Guardians Mental Health. They're doing a lot of stuff right now. They're actually up in Boston. I think they're doing PAX this weekend and Anime Boston next weekend. So if you're in the area at either of those conventions, you can find Guardians Mental Health working up there for their booth or working a quiet room, having a good time up there. Shout outs to FedEx finally delivering the banner to Joe that we thought was lost because it was like an $800 banner and I felt really bad about it. But it has been found, so that's a big dub. Shout outs to Dare Drops. Been a lot of stuff going on over there. If you guys saw the Smite Dare Drops that we did earlier in March, it was really, really cool to see those because I designed them and people really liked them, and I really appreciate that. And then shout outs to Simbi for Senpai Podcast. Ash Basham is in Japan right now, and that's pretty crazy.
I know, the show off.
And
I saw him post pictures and at everybody, and it was like, you.
And I guess this is worth mentioning now. Deb's here. He can back me up on this. Shout outs to Baji listeners because there's some changes coming. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but sometime in the future.
We'll get our shit together. Probably for April Fools.
That's a good time to do it, honestly.
That's a great time to do it.
Oh, man. Okay, here's my deal. I will make this agreement to the Up Your Experience listeners. I will not do what I did, I think it was last year or the year before, I don't remember which, where I did a whole episode with only my audio, and I was talking to Boss, and I had both audios on there, and I released the episode later. We won't do that this time, but maybe we drop something for April Fools. Who knows?
Blaze talks to himself, but no one can hear the others.
Oh yeah, it was great. Because someone listened to that whole episode, Liani. Because someone messaged me afterwards. They're like, yo, do you know that you just like talked for the whole time and the other person wasn't there? And I was like, what? No way. And like, I really sold it. Really sold it.
The voices.
And then shout out to all the devs that have been reaching out for like sponsored content. It's been really awesome. Been a good time. But we're going to head on out of here and we'll catch y'all later on the next episode. Bye.
Later.